like a profit for children.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what they're doing to these families on October 9th here in Detroit. But guess what? You couldn't get nobody to sign that petition to say, hey, I want it. One lady, they went up to her and they says, well, don't you want to recall the governor? And she says, why? What has he done? Well, you don't read? You can't see what they're doing to you? Man, they're colonizing us. They're making us what they want us to be. They're taking away all your rights. They're doing this. Why? So they're really stripping you of what I perceive as being an American dream that I had from my forefathers.
You know, they turn you upside down. They're shaking your pockets out. They're using all kind of tricks and things to get your kids and different things. The government also. Yeah,
they're transferring ownership of the family to the government.
Yeah,
is that clear what's happening?
Yeah, they're transferring wealth. The governor now has decided in Michigan to tax pensions, which they were not taxing pensions. And
$75,000 a year to keep somebody in prison. You know, there's enough money in this country, even as badly stripped as it's been, where everybody here could live like a king. And I'm not kidding you about that. It's worldwide, no famines, no nothing. More money is spent by the United States on hate, death, and war. How many people out there realize with what we spend on hate, death, and war, we could provide hospitals, food, medical care, education to every man, woman, and child on this planet on what we spend on hate, death, and war? What is the matter with the psychology of the people in this country?
I have no idea. But I want to thank you for your call, Arizona. And
you guys give some thoughts to the greatest transfer of wealth that the history's ever seen. The wealth of the world is being transferred to a handful of bankers, and there's 6.5 billion people on this planet, letting a few hundred people loot everything and their future and everything. It's all going in the trash can by a handful of people.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you.
It's got to stop.
It's bigger than a handful, and
you have a lot of people that depend on the government for their jobs. They've never given one thought to the fact that if they would stop all this nonsense, they could have a decent job, manufacturing, educating. The list is long. If you go back into America's history 100 years ago and take a look, everybody and his brother had a little job going, and they were all making money, and they were all doing fine. We could easily do that over again. We just have got to get rid of the blood-sucking whores that have taken over this country and get the police and the government to wake up and realize that they're not going to get a share of this big pie.
Right, exactly.
That's what needs to be done. They've got to be woke up.
All right.
I'll talk to you guys later.
You take care.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to get back to the speech that killed John F. Kennedy, where I was reading, where he says, "For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operation." This is a machine, and it's a world machine. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlines. 911, for example, and that inside job with holes in it so big you could drive a freight train through them, and all the mistakes are buried. And everybody's going on. I was looking at George Bush over at the 911 memorial for the 10 years. I ain't never seen anybody nervouser than that guy, and the way he was looking. It was almost like he thought the people were going to grab him right there and do what needed to be done. Its dissenters are silenced and not praised. No expenditure is questioned. No rumor is printed. No secret is revealed. This is the machine that John F. Kennedy talked about, and that he spoke against, and that he didn't want to see this nation fall into the hands of deeper than they had already fell. And like they say, this is the speech that killed John F. Kennedy. You seen what happened to him. You know, they blew his head off. For whatever reason they did it. And it may not have been this speech. It may have been the fact that he wanted to mess with the Federal Reserve and the money. Or whatever. Caller, Kristen Nicole, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. I just wanted to call in about my American dream.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, my American dream was, I always did very well in school, and I was a class president, and at the time I wanted to be a doctor because we always are taught to, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we always think we have an equal opportunity at whatever that is. Well, my American dream was to go to college, become a doctor, live well in a big house and have a car and a family, and just to live and have a freedom and a happy life. Well, I didn't know in going to college about the student loans and the financial aid and the 12 to 15% interest that was going to put me in debt up to my ears. Nobody told me that. Yeah. And so the dream becomes a nightmare because you spend your whole life struggling, one, to get to college, two, struggling to get through college, and three, struggling to pay back the money that you owe. I mean, there's no way out of it. And so you never, even if you get the degree, you never get the freedom that you thought it was going to afford you.
Yeah, you come out as a debt slave.
A debt slave. A sharecropper. And also, early on when I was young, my parents taught me to, at some point, I think it was 3rd or 4th grade, we stopped pledging allegiance to the flag in the classroom, and all my teachers assumed that I was Jehovah's Witness, which I'm not, never have been, no offense to them, but because that flag had nothing to do, it was never written, the allegiance that I was pleading to had nothing to do with me, it wasn't written for me, and it had no benefit to me being a little black girl, and for the little black boys, it didn't have anything to do with us, so we just bought out of that lot early on, and it's been a struggle ever since. My dream now is, to see, they say we the people. I would actually like to see we the people have a revolution, and I mean just start fighting back they say we have these rights. I would like to see us all rise up at the same time for the same purpose and actually speak up and fight for our rights. That's
not gonna happen in this day and time. You can't even get people to stand with you. If you stand on a good issue, you can't even get people to stand with you.
And I believe that goes back to, and my sister made a very valid point about something you said earlier about, you're free in your mind. She said, well, that's a part of the American dream. That's a part of the trap. Is they think in your mind that you're free as they play this game and keep you a debt slave.
Yeah, you're going to be a debt slave. You're never going to be free. Right. It always was an illusion. You know what I'm saying? Caller 519. Are you there?
Yep. Hi, guys. It's Princess.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you? You talked about the speech of JFK. And I just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay.
And, from all of the research that I've done, because that thing is what I think probably opened up my eyes at the age of 16. But, JFK understood that there was bigger powers to be, that's what he was talking about in his speech, and that he wanted to open up a silver, which I believe that Kat's brother has talked about, where he wanted to open up a silver to take the government out of the debt and get out from under the glove of the Illuminati, as he called it. He didn't say that in his speech, but that's what he was meaning, by the whole fact of, there's bigger powers beyond what we know in the whole entire world. And that's basically what he was talking about.
Right.
He was killed over this. You have to think back that, Bush Sr. was part of the CIA, which was part of the Bay of Pigs, when he was assassinated.
Exactly.
It's so deep, and it's just so twisted, and
it's very deep. And look where we've gone. Look where we are today. Wars are justified to the people with fragrant lies. They did 9/11. Saddam Hussein. He got weapons of mass destruction. Let's go get him. Let's hang him. Let's do just a lie. Okay. Gaddafi, he's killing his own citizens. We got to go over there and stop him. And then they go over there and bomb more of the citizens than Gaddafi ever thought about. Okay? While they're trying to run him out of the country to get his gold and his oil and everything.
Well,
and then you get...
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, you got these huge corporate networks that influence whole countries. Banks and high class can get away with almost anything. People and animals are, just plagued with outbreaks, famine, climate change. I mean, whole regions.
You know what? We can't. Okay, let's not even talk about climate change, because all the planets in the whole entire universe are heating up, and that's a totally different subject.
Exactly.
And I don't think that we can. Yeah, we can't even go there. But let's deal with like Gaddafi and people like that. Okay, certain people don't want to conform. I'll use that word, conform to everything that the U.S. government, Illuminati, or whatever else they really want to do, correct?
Gaddafi being one, Saddam Hussein being another one.
He was backed by the government for how many years and educated by the government. His sons were actually educated in the U.S. in U.S. universities.
Right.
But when you look at all the politics, and I don't understand politics, I can't tell you that I'm the best at this. I only know what I know, and I can only share what I do understand. So please don't, burn me over a fire for this one. But anybody who ever goes against what the big group, Bilderbergs, Illuminati, whoever they are, nobody really knows because they all have many different names.
Yeah.
If you ever go against them, the next thing you know, you're being bombed.
Yeah.
The country is being bombed because all of a sudden, so if you go back far enough in history to the Romanovs, the whole entire family was slaughtered because they did not want to conform to the Illuminati way, which is kind of sick when you think about it, because the Romanovs' wife was actually the sister or the cousin to the Queen Mother. So it's so deep, and this is what a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand. What you need to understand is that it's hype. The whole American dream thing was hype. You never were going to be free. And this and that. Number one, it never applied to most of the people on the planet. It applied to white guys, and it was a dream that they were selling them, but it was all a dream. It was hype. Well,
I guess it was just like the movement of Martin Luther King. He actually died because he was trying to present another, I guess, freedom dream to us, and they killed him for it. I mean, let's just say it. They killed him for it because he was trying.
Agreed.
He was trying to present us with another whole flip side to get us away from the American dream, to show us that technically one way we are not free, but we're going to try to march on this, and that's why he organized so many marches to try to get us to go towards freedom on our own. But it's a different for each section of people. Like when you go to Jews have come to America. They have actually, built themselves a reputation, and they kind of broke away from American dreams. I'm sorry, a lot of black people really have strayed, because the problem with us is we don't stick together. If one person has one good idea, we don't kind of really support that and stick with that. Whereas, there are some people, the guy Effie, remember we met him down at the hotel down there, and we were like, listen, they come here from overseas. They've opened their own banks. They live in their own little area, and they don't